From Kemau to Kepamo, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Boakai, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, Liberia, for Liberia. From Monday to Sunday, from Monday to Sunday, it's focused on Liberia. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, foreign affairs. Reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Christmas edition of On Point. Christmas is all about family and happiness. And we want to maybe retrospect or a week in review or a year in review. We're going to do the year in review the next Sunday, which will be New Year's Sunday. And we're going to go by the whole year. But for today, we're going to start the show with a family flavor. And after that, we're going to go into politics. And then we're going to add another piece this year. We are going to add sports. We are going to be asking and talking about what's happening around the league. If you are a Giant fan, I am sorry. If you are a Minnesota Viking fan, you are on life support. If you are a fan of the Patriots, the New England Patriots, sorry folks, if you are a fan of the New England Patriots, you will be out here crying. I am looking at the game now on my big screen here. I'm seeing.
How much time do we have on here today?
Don't worry about it. I know your team is losing. You don't want to know about it. But it's Detroit Lions 30 and the Minnesota Vikings 24. It's getting to be bad out here. And today, my Chelsea lost 2-1 to some FCC team.
Yeah, don't even mention that team, Mr. Jimmy.
We're talking about that because my Chelsea is. I'm ready to fight. I don't know what's wrong with my Chelsea.
Yeah, we got about it here.
Can't beat anybody. So that's why it is. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in for Christmas. This is Christmas. For those of our friends who are of different faith, you know how we do it. When it's time for Ramadan, we come out here and we do our Ramadan stuff. We know more about this than most of you Muslim guys think we don't know. We know about this thing more than some of you guys do. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I am in my red. This is my Christmas outfit. And I'm saying it's family time. So for the first 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to take time and spotlight our families. Tell me, how did you celebrate Christmas? If you are not a member of the Christian faith or you don't believe in Christianity or the Christmas season, how did you guys celebrate this? If you were in Liberia and you were a minority faith, most likely the dominant faith, which is the Christian tradition in Liberia, will affect you somehow. We're going to discuss that. Welcome to you all. My co-host Jimmy Eastman is here. The young, brilliant Mr. Elvin Morris is here. Mr. Kamara is here. I think I saw him doing his measurement with Joseph Boakai. He might get a new suit on there. So we'll talk about all of these things. We are going to talk about later on. We'll talk about President. We are patterning. He pardoned Mr. Brownie Samukai. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a Dora Musu Scott case, and then we're going to talk about
The PHP park opening, that's a big deal.
eh?
The PHP park opening, that's
Yes,
a
the
huge
PHP park
infrastructure.
opening. We're going to touch on that also. So, Mr. Eastman, welcome, sir.
Yeah, welcome to all our followers. We want to wish all of you a very peaceful and joyful holiday. Many of you are taking time off now to visit family. Family is very important. It's the nucleus of any society, and that's what makes it so very important. We see many things unfolding, and we just hope our country takes a fantastic direction and avoid the trappings of the past. We see there are so many things that we could do, but we cannot do it without each other. So let's see what the 2024 holds for us.
Thank you very much. Mr. Morris, how are you doing in Minnesota, and how are things going?
Things are going good. I just want to ask you, can we confirm that Thomas Donan passed away, or is it still a rumor? Has it been confirmed?
Well, I confirmed it with his friend, Mr. Calibo Gonglo, that he passed away
Wow.
in India.
All right, so I just want to say rest in peace to the brother. Didn't see this Christmas, but actually, I don't celebrate Christmas, Mr. Gaiman. I don't celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving. I think Mr. Ja had a brilliant show on last Sunday about Christmas. You know that it's not actually a quote unquote Christian holiday. It has a lot of paganism mixed into it. So for those reasons, I don't celebrate Christmas. You know, so I don't do the tradition. I don't share gifts and all of these things. It has been proven that it's not when Christ was born. So for me, it's not a holiday that I take any part in. So I don't
Great.
celebrate Christmas. My family looked at me odd, but I've stopped celebrating Christmas since I was in my early 20s when I realized what it was. So that's why I don't celebrate it.
Great. Mr. Aliyo Kamara,
Yes, sir.
how does your family celebrate Christmas? I know you're of a different faith, but if you are in a country like Liberia, we all celebrate all of these things when it's time for Ramadan, breaking of the fast and all of that. We all go to our Muslim friends, we exchange gifts, we eat foods, and all. When it comes to Christmas in your hometown, how did your families celebrate the Christmas?
Ironically, my family is very diverse. Our origin is Islam. I don't want to say our origin because we're black people, but I mean we were born into Islam. But you'd be surprised to know my mother, my Dingo woman as well, she's a staunch Christian. And she takes her Christianity faith very seriously. And so we're divided in that. When I'm with her, I'm forced to perform some of those duties, like the food, the toy under the Christmas tree, and all of that. I have to just play along. So we have nothing against it. For some of us who come from a diverse background, it doesn't, But all I can say is, with you guys who consider this tradition, because it's become a tradition, some people just take the goodness of it and celebrate it, and we can't do it on the history of it, whatever, but the goodness of it and what it brings that togetherness, family meeting each other after a long time of being absence of each other. It kind of says the what you would call it for a family reunion, and a lot of forgiveness can be done that time. The cousin you haven't seen in 10 years, you see him, and maybe he pissed you off 10 years ago. You guys can iron stuff. So there's a good side to it. So I say bravo to you guys. I would you guys celebrate your day in a grand style.
Great. Mr. Morris, I don't want to be a
So
professor. I don't want to be a
don't go
professor.
there, Mr. Gary. That's my own choice and my own belief.
I don't want to be a professor here, but in sociology, there's something called functionalism. Okay, we have actually commercialized Christmas and the economy behind it. You name it, like he said, the goodness of it, what it means. They say joy. where we respect each other, we love each other, we get together. So the functionality of the day is what we look at, because everything else, including Islam, is questionable. Christianity is questionable. Faith as a whole is questionable, because that's why they call it faith. You have to have belief. So nobody can question anybody else's belief. This is why we say, if the time comes around and the Muslims are doing their thing, the rabbis at Hanukkah comes around, we celebrate and we live to live. We live together, we respect each other, we cheer each other without going into the history. If you do, then you will be questioning other people's faith. Mr. Eastman, chime in on this. Why are we celebrating this? To me, today, this weekend, my family will be going from mall to mall, spending money, shopping, having great time.
And that's the bastardization of the whole thing, Mr. Gaming. It has been transformed to a commercialized holiday, which most of the time it's not Christ centered. It's all about buying gifts, which is a Norse, something from Norway and Denmark, where they do the Yule log and all these different things where they give gifts. This is not Christ like. So if you want to celebrate the birth, the birth of Christ, it should be more so in like early, January, early February, around that time. That's when he was born, in terms of accuracy. So this is something that the pagan Christian Constantine, who was a Roman emperor, who was a pagan, when he got converted because he was in a battlefield and he saw some kind of light and he got converted to
But that's the
Christianity,
whole
to
Bible.
Christ.
If you go into that one, the whole Bible.
No, the point is infused with a lot of paganism. The Christmas tree, the gift sharing is pagan. So that's why I don't celebrate it. If you want to be biblical, you shouldn't celebrate it either. That's my point.
No, listen to this. Islam.
Forget about Islam. We're talking about our faith today. We don't want to go to Islam for this.
I'm talking about the major religion. All of these religions had crusades where they convert, they kill, they murder. Okay? And we celebrate Christianity, we celebrate Islam, we celebrate Judaism, we celebrate all of these things. If we were going your way, by people bastardizing their faith, none of these faiths would be you and I. Islam kill, Christianity kill, Judaism they kill, how they call Buddhism. Everybody Congo people, and they did this. We don't want to dwell on that. We want to dwell, like Mr. Kamara said, the goodness. What does that represent? The goodness of it. When they are doing the Ramadan, that whole month when it ends, they go from house to house, they give gifts, they feed, they do a lot of great stuff. It's good for mankind. So let us not go there. So Mr. Isha.
Yeah, allow me to come in
before you go there, I want you to highlight in the Eastman family, what is it that the family did, or who in the family on these kinds of holidays that reminds you, that bring joy? What are the Eastman tradition?
Yeah. Before I would get to the Eastman tradition, let me say first, I kind of understand where our erudite Mr. Elvis is coming from. There have been a lot of things in the history and a lot of manipulation. And that is why it's very important for us to know what is essential and know what is just frivolous, or it just the frills of religion. And if you can't divide what is essential to what all the different, because if you read those books, especially the Bible, it's a storybook like. It's not a science book. So if you read it there with trying to ascertain facts, you may be stumped. There's a lot of questionable things. But what is the essence? Well, some people believe that there is a savior. That the world, they've been told from time to time, all the religions believe somebody's going to come and save the world from the evil because we are so evil. And in 2000 to 2022 and 23 years ago, some people feel that this person was born and somewhere in Bethlehem, and people came to celebrate him. But there's so much that they have put into it and distorted it that we must be careful. But the essence of it is having faith in God and let him, and that is your moral compass. I'm not going to go too deep because this discussion can go way somewhere else. Whether you are black,
this is why we are focusing on tradition. What is the
yes,
Eastman
yeah,
tradition?
yeah. So with like Elvis, I don't like to see paintings of white Jesus and white. I don't like to see those things. I think it's idol worship. That's why I like the Muslims. You can't put no character, no caricature or picture of Muhammad. It's not allowed because they know that this is what people do. But anyway, we traditionally we do celebrate Christmas, and it's from all times they've been doing the tree. You know, yeah, family. We visit family. We give presents. We've been sucked into that tradition. But since I too have, after coming to some awareness, I no longer put up a tree, but I will help people if that makes you cheerful. If that's what will make this time, because for some reason or not, just what you said, Christmas is a time that family get together. It's a perfect time to come together and to show kindness and love. We should be doing this all year round, but at least in this period we try to exhibit some kindness, and if we don't make it too materialistic, this is a good time for cheer, for expressing love, for people coming back together, and that is how we do it. It's been a family reunion for us.
Mr. Eastman, let me plug in a show real quick. Let people who watching this show go back to the Sunday show to Hello Pastor. They had an excellent expose on what Christmas is and what Christmas isn't.
That's public information, Maurice.
Listen,
Everybody know that.
listen, we are not here for the history of religion.
Yeah.
I'm only asking in your household how the family tradition is, and we go around like me. I was born in the interior, okay, where we didn't have tree and everything else, but we look forward to this particular day. My father was a minister. We look forward to this day. We save our rice. We save a lot of money. We save a lot of coffee and cocoa. We go to Buchanan, sell it, bring stuff back. And this is the time that everybody got together, and it was good. And
It was beautiful. Let me not to cut out Mr. Ismail though. Let me just come in for a few seconds just to tell Ever something. For me, who believe that Islam is the right way, all right, and I'm telling you that all power to you. I wish you the best. Those who consider this day the birth of Jesus Christ, I say all power to them. The reason for that is not because I don't know that nobody has Jesus Christ's birth date written. I know that. I also know that even the place we call the Sea of Galilee today, archaeologists have searched that place at no time Jesus walked over the water over there. I know all that, but that is not the issue. The issue here is, it's a fact. It's been proven that there was no way that Jesus walked over there. Archaeologists
How?
have proven that.
How can
gentlemen, I am not
archaeology prove that a man
listen.
didn't walk on water?
I am not here to go
Okay,
into
here's the
religion.
point. Here's the point I'm making. So we put all that aside. The point here is how you celebrating your Christmas and the importance of Christmas. And Christmas is very important to those who believe in it. Like I said, example to my mom. I don't believe what she believes, but I support what she does because it makes her happy. You see what I'm saying?
No, the only reason I'm responding is because Mr. Gaiman pushed back on I told him not to go there. That was my own personal belief, and he pushed back. So that's why it became something of an argument. But I don't have any problems. I have my own belief. Even my own family thinks I'm kind of weird for not celebrating it because it's been a tradition in our family for a long time, like everybody else from Liberia, those Christians. So for me, I just gave my reason why I don't celebrate it. And Mr. Gaiman wanted to, maybe he felt offended by it, but don't feel offended. I'm a Christian. I believe in Christ. I'm a Christian through and through.
Mr. Gay, welcome. This segment is for us to learn a little bit about the Gay family. How did you guys celebrate these kinds of events? What did it mean for you and your family?
Yeah, before I even chime into what my family and my mother do every Christmas, I I was just listening to Mr. Adaka Kamara and Elvis. Christmas, whether or not people can argue, the date, that Christ was born or not. The argument here, he was born, right? Whether or not he was born this December 25th, he was born. And every time of the year, once every year, the entire world comes to a complete halt to recognize this day. There's no other day in the world that is celebrated more than Christmas. Whether or not you believe in Christ Jesus or not, there is no other day that it can be compared to Christmas Day around the globe, right? Even here in the United States, where almost everywhere will be open, but on Christmas Day, every major business sector is closed.
You gotta be careful though when you say around the globe.
When I say around the globe, it's the vast majority of the country around the globe. The vast majority of the 8 billion human beings that exist today in the world, 8 billion plus, at least 7 billion.
Not true. There is 1.5 million Muslim, about 1 billion Hindus. So it's not true, Anthony.
Globally. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but just
celebrate. Listen, when I say celebrate this day, they may not be out there celebrating, but our business is closed. They observe this day.
Indian man business closed.
The people in China don't celebrate Christmas.
Listen. They will compare the whole world.
Mr. Gay.
Compare the whole world.
In Africa and Europe, definitely, but not in the Asian world.
Listen, guys. Mr. Gay, how do you celebrate? How your family?
How you
celebrate Christmas?
Yeah, but let me. That's my time I'm using, right? That's how I decided to speak about it. So
no, you're making fun of us.
Christmas is even Muslim. You cannot be a true Islamic believer if you don't believe in Jesus Christ. Period. So I don't know. I've been
talking about Christmas. Then you're talking about Jesus, believe Jesus.
But here's the thing. Christmas is one day. Just as Thanksgiving Day, family come together. It's a family day. Yes, it's a day that Christ was born, or it's a day dedicated for Christ's birth. But it's a day that most family come together to have family reunion, to come together to celebrate. We dedicated, to our children. It's the year that the time of the year we appreciate the children, give them the gift. Most of them, stuff that they really like. They wait on Christmas Day to be that day of that particular, things to be delivered to them. A lot of kids look up to this day to their parents to deliver. It has become a tradition, right? It has become a tradition.
Anthony, can I ask you a question? If a person does not celebrate Christmas, do you consider them who profess to be a Christian but does not celebrate Christmas? Do you consider them to be a Christian?
It is their personal choice. Faith is personal choice.
Okay. So the celebration of Christmas has nothing to do with a person's faith. So when you say anybody who believes in Jesus celebrate Christmas, it's not a necessity of our faith.
I'm not here to debate it, Mr. Gay. Tell me how you celebrate Christmas.
You want to celebrate Christmas? That's your personal choice.
Mr. Gay, how your family celebrate Christmas, man? How you celebrate this holiday?
Mr. Gay getting mad. You don't brother this subject.
If you pick up the Bible and you say you will do everything in the Bible but celebrate Christmas, that's up to you. Do you always not celebrate Christmas?
Well, Christmas is not in the Bible. What are you talking about? Christmas is not in the Bible.
Excuse me, God, Mr. Gay, how do you celebrate Christmas? How your family celebrate Christmas? This is the few minutes you get to celebrate your family. That's what this is about.
Listen, man. So Christmas is a joyful moment. It's a time of reflection. It's a time of togetherness. It's a time to put a smile on the kids' face. It's a time to reflect on your personal journey as an individual. And that's how we celebrate in our family. We come together and we open gifts together and all of that different things. That's what the family have done over the years and continue to do.
I love you, Anthony. That's it. I love you, Anthony.
Ladies and gentlemen, to all of our viewers, this is a symbolic gift to all of our friends, to Mr. Eastman, Mr. Kamara, Mr. Morris.
No, not for me. No gift for me.
All our friends around, our viewers, this is all for you. It is symbolic. It is a day of giving. This day of remembering our friends. And next week, Sunday, we are going to be doing the year in review. There are many of you who started this show with us that are no longer here. And I would like to pay tribute to a very, very staunch supporter of this show, Mr. Da Wanake, lost his fight to life on Friday in Trenton, New Jersey. A very good friend, a follower of this show from the very inception. Da Wanake, we want to say our condolences to your family, and we wish you well. Da Wanake.
Rest in peace, brother.
So we say Da Wanake and his family, and the family of Mr. Wanake in Trenton, New Jersey, in Ganta, Nimba County, and Liberia. Very popular man, very, very resourceful. We want to say our sympathy. Now let's move on to the next show, guys. We have other things going on in Liberia. There's so much, a platitude of events and issues to cover. Some we have covered in detail on other shows and other segments, but we have to hear it from. We want to get the perspective of the on-point crew, the most highly educated, well-trained, diverse, and stable group of folks that have been there for the last 4 years. We are not talking about going and coming. We are talking about guys who have been here, lawyers, been on this show.
You're not trying to pick on Antonio when you say go and come.
Come on, man. Anthony is a regular here. He's been here.
My brother, yeah, lead us like a man.
Don't lead out that man. If we have even 2 people watching this, that second person would be Anthony. So we know that he's a great guy. So, gentlemen, we have issues in Liberia. I think I will give Mr. Elvis about 30 seconds. I know he wanted us to give his condolences to a very young, progressive, up-and-coming administrator who just lost his life. Mr. Elvis, you want to mention the young man names you just mentioned?
Yeah, I want to tell the family and friends of Mr. Thomas Dona, the boss of the LRA, who actually was doing a great job in collecting the taxes for the Liberian government. Fell ill about a year ago and sadly lost his life over the weekend. So my condolences is with the family, and I think as a nation we lost a great son and a great servant of our country. So rest in peace to Mr. Thomas Dona, a great Liberian and a great servant of our country. That's all.
Thank you. I don't know Mr. Do, Mr. Na. Somebody just brought it to my attention, Mr. Gonglo, that said this guy was such a great administrator, a man who was very strong on transparency and accountability. And for a young man in the middle of his career, at the height of his career, to lose his life, it is unbelievable, and condolences. We keep losing all the great Liberian young ones too. It's pathetic at the end of the year. Our condolences to the Nile family. So here we are. We have all these issues in Liberia. We have the President Weir, Patton.
No, I want to chime in on this thing that Evan just talked about a little bit, 30 seconds as well.
Yes, go ahead.
You see, that's why when people in Liberia tell us, oh, the population, the youth population of Liberia is over 60%, as if it's a good thing. It's not a good thing. The reason why that is for Liberia is because we don't have good medical facilities. So people are not getting old, they're dying early. That's what it is. And we must also be careful with this thing about wishing death on other people regardless of their situation, because you just never know when your time is going to come. We heard a lot of accusations. And the third thing is, why is it that usually it has to be these guys with the auditing background, the guys with the accounting background that usually die faster in the CDC administration? You know, all of those things. But hey, my condolences to the family, to the Na family.
Please, Mr. Let me push back, please. 10 seconds. We had a sitting senate. We had 2 sitting senators die before the election. In the person of the Bapoli senator, Daniel Nyetien. We had Grand Bassa. Hold on now. Hold on. I'm going back. Okay. We had the other president from Grand Bassa. We have Mona Pelham. We have Geraldine Sharif Doe, who died in office. We've had a lot of people who died in office, both from the CDC side and from the opposition. So you can't blame this government to be targeting quote unquote auditors or people who are from the accounting sector of our government. Please don't do that. That's a conspiracy theory. You shouldn't spew on this show, please.
We definitely don't want to go that route because the man was a seditious. You can't tell me seditious will kill their own or they have some power.
It's always been the case. I'm just concerned. I'm suspecting CDC for this.
Listen,
don't do that.
We are not going there. I know where you are going with somebody wishing death on other folks. That man never wished death on anybody. So don't say that.
Anthony can attest to what I'm saying.
Well, that is not the topic of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the president of the Republic of Liberia, our own president, President Weah, pardoned a man who stole from the Liberian people, from the worst of the worst. We are talking about the military. Brownie Samukai stole money from the military, the people who got guns. This man got no fear. Stole the people retirement funds, and he was tried.
You can hear this is laughing. That one you don't call it conspiracy theory.
I'm laughing because I'm laughing, but I'll get my chance to speak and get my view on it.
Eastman, don't pay these guys any man. We are talking about something like the facts where the man was.
Brownie Samukai is one of the funniest we have in our country. That's a
that bad commando. That bad. I'm scared nobody will go on Mr. Gary. So
the man was indicted. He was accused. He was indicted by the early government. He was tried in court. He was tried in a CDC court.
Anthony, it's not an argument. I'm gonna let him finish the dialogue.
He was tried in court. He was found guilty. He appealed to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court upheld his conviction. He's a criminal. He stole. I see no reason why my president, the man that I support, will actually pardon a man who is a thief. Legally, somebody that we can call criminal because he was found guilty. He has been tried.
Let me say Ismail talk now. What are you saying?
This man from Lo-Fi, he doesn't think that this man, even though this man stole, we got return checks. We got everything. Mr. President, we are. I support you, but this one, I don't support you. This is wrong, Mr. Eastman.
Okay, so let's look at the merits of the whole case, right?
Thank you.
First of all, it's involves his getting involved with the pension funds of the soldiers, and according to what I understand, he was first directed by the then president Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to use the funds, and it would be replaced in the budget the following budget year. But where I understand is what went wrong with his personal involvement is that he used it again for some other purpose, and that is personal
reasons.
He got caught up. Okay, so that's called misappropriation, and we have seen people of this stature get involved in similar circumstances. He happens to have been though one of our very erudite, very intellectual military personnel, and so it was unfortunate. Yeah, it was unfortunate that such a person of such caliber would fall in this. Now, the president, in his wisdom, President Weah decided to pardon him. Now, I know all of you are talking about Christianity just now, and Jesus came to pardon us according to the Christian theory. In other words, pardoning should be part of our tradition, and if you repent, that is, if you stop doing the things you did before, I think anybody deserves a pardon. And before I drop this, I want to mention something to you, to y'all. My uncle Ernest Eastman. One time they asked him a question about the TRC, and he told them he noticed that it was devoid of pardon, and that is essential that we had included that, because when he spoke to Nelson Mandela, Nelson Mandela was a close friend of his. He used to spend time at his house anytime he came to Liberia.
Yeah.
And he told her that there's no pardon in this. While I believe that people should be punished for their action, but I also want to leave leeway that a person changes their behavior, and we can afford to give them pardon so that they can still function. And to be so rigid as to not pardon, that is not that is to err is human, and to forgive is divine. That may be a little bit cliche, but it's true. So we need to balance it. We need to keep people in line. Repeat defenders, especially. Repeat offenders need to be put in line. But if we have a case where one of our best have made a misstep and repents, I think we can give him a second chance.
Okay, Mr. Kamara.
Yes, sir.
This man did not only, there are several kinds of crime that we look at. Crime that you commit against yourself, like taking drug and getting drunk and doing those things. That crime against yourself, we can pardon you. But when you take 10,000 people or 100,000 people lives in your hand, their livelihood, their children, these people are so poor that a certain percentage of their listen, certain percentage of their earning will go into a saving and then be given to them and their children.
Yeah, let me answer the question.
The money, Mr. Kamara, this man is a thief. He stole.
Let me answer the question. I already know what's up. Look, listen. The thing about Mr. Samukai taking money for personal use has always only been speculated. Now, the reason why Mr. Samukai was convicted was because he used the pension money for something else. And the place he put that money was for the public, and the instruction was given to him by the president to make him to demonize it and say, oh, another thing was that he took some money for his personal self. But then when you ask to give us the code detail, nobody can give you the code detail what money he took for his personal self. But here's the thing. Ellen went to your president and told that man, I did this. George Weah, upon himself, before conviction, began to replace the money to the soldiers. Why did he try to replace the money? Only when it came time for politics, they collect the pops and they want to lock him up. Now, somebody said, oh, George Weah, out of his wisdom, what Mr. Eastman said, out of his wisdom. No, George Weah knew. George Weah has conscience. George Weah knew that this thing was political. He knew that Joseph Boakai knows that this thing is political. Either way, Mr. Samukai would have been off the hook. It was a mistake made. Yes, he should pay for the consequences of that mistake, but he never stole money. He followed wrong orders. And under the law, you will implement the wrong order. You are held liable for that order. That's what's happening to him. So he's now rolling this, that, all that thing you're doing. That's not it.
Major, give me, please let me get my chance, please.
Mr. Elvis.
But man, you'll be the lie because
Listen.
I won't be the lie. I will go after Mr. Kamara.
Elvis, I personally followed the case. We got checks that Brownie Samukai wrote to himself, return checks. We got money from the
Can you show us copies of those checks?
Please
know
post the copy
all
of
of
the
these
check
things.
myself. I want to know.
Mr. Elvin Morris, I know you say the man is brilliant and all of that, but we are not talking
No,
about
let me-
brilliant. We're talking about the crime he committed. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I love Mr. Kamara when he's on the show. You always give us a little bit of spice. Look, the case of Brownie Samukai cannot be political. Okay, it cannot be a political case. Why? Because this case was brought forth underneath the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government. It was not brought forth because he was an opposition figure, who leaned United Party way and CDC wanted to punish him. This case was started before President Weah even became president. And our true president does not intervene with the judiciary. Once a case is on, on par to the court system, through the court system, it has to meet a logical conclusion. The president let it go all the way to the Supreme Court. People lobby for Samukai's, clemency, for the president to show mercy. President was magnanimous enough to show him mercy through clemency. When people from Lofa came through, Mr. Maxwell Kimia, and lobbied him, since he was so close to the president, the dean of
Why
the
they
president's
agree on the
cabinet.
Kondo Devil King was that? Why they agree on the Kondo Devil King was that? Why it was not
Oh,
magnanimous that time?
please, because the country devil is not a government. They don't
Okay.
we don't adhere to
Go
country
ahead.
devil demands. We're a country of rule and laws. We don't
Oh,
adhere to
so the
country devil demands.
master demand you can hear to. Go ahead.
We are a civilized people. We do things through a civilized way, and lobbying is a civilized
Okay.
way of pursuing our political leaders. So, Mr. Kamara, the reality is our president saw faith in the fact, not even saw faith, but he saw wisdom, like Mr. Eastman Riley said, that he will replace that money for those AFL soldiers who have served our country
Oh, good
dutifully.
gesture, right?
Yes, it's a good gesture. But
Okay.
also, the president has a lot of friends from Lofa. Some of his closest allies are from Lofa. And he saw it in his good wisdom to pardon Mr. Brownie Samukai. And the president is doing this because he knows Brownie Samukai is more valuable to our nation, and he still has a role to play in our country, even though he erred, like Mr. Eastman said. So for me, I think Brownie Samukai has been disgraced, so to speak. He was convicted by a juror of his peers, and at the end of the day, he's been pardoned for his crimes. Like Jesus said, go and sin no more. Not liking President we after Jesus, but in that same vein, he's telling Samuka to go and steal no more or misappropriate no more. So hopefully Mr. Samuka can bring his brilliance to the Boakai team, whether he's in an advisory role or he's serving as a minister or some director or whatever, and bring that military mind and that administrative mind to our country and help our country. But the president, I think, did the right thing. We saw people here, poor Menifo got pardoned. He was a foreign agent. We saw other people who committed crimes, gangbangers, people who sold drugs. Donald Trump pardoned them. Everybody was celebrating. So people who have done terrible things can be pardoned, but Samuka as a whole has more value to our country than just sitting down and being excluded from the governance of our country. So I think the president did the right thing. I will leave it there.
Mr. Gay, Mr. Morris just made a point. He said the man is more valuable, so he can steal. He can do whatever he want to do.
Oh, Mr. Gay, please, that's it.
Mr. Gay, as smart as you are, when you return to Liberia, steal anything you want to steal. You are so valuable. Go ahead, Mr. Gay. My president that I support had led a thief, a man who we are not only accusing, a man that was convicted in a court, and the Supreme Court affirmed his theft. And this man said he's valuable. Mr. Gay, I see you are a valuable man going to Liberia. Now the bank door is open. Go and steal. You are open.
I hope we'll have time for our callers today, because all the time taking to ask them we will make time for our callers today. But look, let me say this, right? Elvis, I want to respectfully disagree with the way you put a nice spin on the whole Samukai case. Look, let us be frank here. The moves that were made to deny Samuka his political seat was very clever, politically speaking. Let me say this. When Samuka was not vying for the senatorial post from Lofa County, this case was going very smoothly. Even the WLA administration paid up to $450,000 United States dollars towards this particular thing, right? Because I can still recall that then President-elect Weah and Madam Seli, President of the Republic at the time, including the Brownie Samukai, had a press conference wherein they said that yes, indeed, an investigation was conducted and there was, misappropriation of funds, and the money will be restituted in the recast budget of the new administration. During that press conference, then President Seri, then President-elect George Manawia, and the minister himself They had a press conference. And after we had took office, they did just as they said in the press conference that the we administration were going to register the money. They paid $450,000 United States dollars towards this particular thing. Then everything changed when Brownie Samukai decided to run for office in Lofa County. And upon his succession or a successful campaign in Lofa County, they saw that, oh, one, this man from the county, that is a vote-rich county. Two, he is an opposition to us. And three, he's a very influential guy. If we let this guy slide, take his seat, it's not going to be easy for our party. Let's do
You're
XYZ.
you're
And
going into
that's
the
what they did.
operations of their minds, Anthony. You can't do that. That's speculative.
Look, my brother,
Mr.
my brother.
Mr. Morris, let the
Look,
man
we are
finish his talk.
all
Go ahead.
politicians here. Every politics is a calculated risk. If you don't know that, politics is a calculated risk. This was well calculated. You understand? If Brownie Samukai whacked it, first and foremost, there are many people who did wrong in Liberia. The CDC government will remember of being a cherry picker if it comes to the judicial process. All right? Because we saw they put all of the political capital behind then Associate Justice Cabinet Janet, and you were removed from office. But other folks were left off the hook. Then they did the same thing with Brownie Samukai to set an example.
They didn't start the case. The case was already started before we came to office.
What?
Mr. Gay?
The case was already
Gay?
started before we came to office. They would have had to go in retrospect to bring a case against a man when he was not even president.
It was Ellie. That's why it was Brownie Samukai boss that sued him.
Exactly.
All of these
Mr.
things were
Eastman.
politically motivated.
Wait. You say Ellen sued Brownie Samukai?
The Ellen government, the
It was-
judicial
Wait,
under the
wait,
Ellen
wait,
government
wait,
too.
It was Ellen government that took him to
Investigations.
court, that sued him, that
I
accused
thought
him
you
of
said, I thought
theft.
you said Ellen because Ellen stood for the man. Ellen vouched for
I
the
said
man.
Ellen
Ellie is not a
government.
lawyer. She can
Ellen
you can't pardon a
Ellen
crime
government
just
took
by
the
She
man
by
to
was the
saying
court.
head of the
Mr.
government. She said,
Eastman.
I gave the instruction. She
Yeah,
said,
but
I.
like
Mr.
I agree,
Mr.
like I
Mr.
agree,
Eastman.
this case was gonna go smoothly. This case was
Mr.
gonna go
Gay.
smoothly until Brownie Samukai decided to run for the
Oh,
Senate.
okay, that's your opinion.
that's your own speculation, like I said.
Mr. Eastman.
Yes.
Mr. Eastman, here we have a man who was accused in a court of law.
Don't forget to
Oh
shoot
no,
the check
now
down.
if he listen, Mr. Eastman, Brownie Samukai had the opportunity to call the former president, put her on the stand as a witness. He never did. And the case went up and he was found guilty.
Yeah,
And he
but
said
knowing
it's
his
not fair.
discipline, he won't
He
do
took it
such
to the
things.
Supreme
Knowing
Court.
his discipline, he won't do
The
such things.
Supreme Court said you are a thief. You stole. Mr. Eastman, these guys not trying to, they try to defend their own rogues here. Okay? This man will sit here without indictment, say McGill is a thief. Without indictment, without a guilty verdict. They call all these people thieves. Now we got a man who we call red-handed. We find him guilty. The Supreme Court said
But your
the man
own
is a
government
thief. Now they
refused to
coming here.
prosecute
Mr.
my
Eastman,
guilt.
shine your light on this. I know you tussle and tussle. You always fair, but this man has been
You're looking for
You
the
know, what we really need to avoid is what is termed a travesty of justice. We want to use the law for the best of Liberia, and we want to be as fair and across the board as we possibly can.
There you go.
And say effective. Okay, so yes, there was something wrongdoing, and he was convicted, but he was also pardoned, and that's where we should leave it is. Now, you make a point though. Does this set a precedent that people can now assume they can do something wrong and be forgiven later on? No. He has suffered some punitive action. He has gone through some punitive. So it's not like he just got off scot-free. And I think he's learned a lot from his endeavor. But as much as we want to stop corruption in our country, which we have to make this administration has to make a very strong stance, because right now the U.S. government is looking keenly at it with their behavior. But But at the same time, when if we can use people, we've all done something wrong before. Come on, I don't want to bring Mary Magdalene up since we are on Eve of Christmas Eve, But the idea is, are we going to continue doing it, or are we desisted from such evil practice? I think we need to let it go now, and remember, and remind everybody, if you do something wrong, there will be punitive action taken against you, and that's the lesson we need to take from it.
All right.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition, our Christmas edition of On Point. I am livid with the president that I supported and still support and will always support, to look at a thief, a convicted criminal that stole poor people money and gave him a buy and said, okay, when you go, don't steal no more. And those guys who stole chicken.
Go to the next topic. You're not winning.
I know people who stole chicken that have been in jail for more than 2 years. Chicken. I know people
maybe that special kind of chicken.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I see Mr. Sam Waller. I see David Flomo. I see Propo. All of you guys are chiming. John Edit. I see everybody chiming. And we're going to read your comments today. We're going to have
Mr. Gibby, you call all those people's name wrong except Sam Water. The man name is Flomo Livingston. The other man name is Ja Eddie. Not John Eddie and not John Flomo.
Ja Eddie, Sam Water, Flomo Livingston. Let me make sure I got the name right. That's correct. Okay, and the last guy up there, StreamYard. I got that one right. I got StreamYard. StreamYard cannot tell me anything. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition. Listen, this is family holiday. You guys who have been in the mall, I know a lot of you are at the mall. You shopping it. You took time off. And that's very nice. You took time off. You could have been with the family. It's a family day tomorrow. Everybody having a great time. So wherever you are, you watch it, we say kudos. And to our Minnesota Vikings, I want to say sorry to you. A better team just beat you. My Miami Dolphins is playing, so I'm watching the game. To Mr. Jimmy Eastman and the New York Giants, I said, I'm sorry. Maybe next year you will try. And Mr. Gay, if you're in the Houston area, today was not a good time for Houston, but we'll talk about it. If you are a soccer fan like me.
I in the East Coast, but I'm a Lakers fan.
I'm talking about football.
We're talking football. We're talking basketball. We're talking football. We're talking about
the Lakers will be playing the New York Giants. So we know that will be a
you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. You ain't feeling, my man. You're a Philly fan.
Yes. My Miami Dolphins and the Cowboys are playing. I'm watching the game. It is a great game. We are up 3-0. Oh, no, 6-3. But the Cowboys just scored. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about criminality in Liberia. We're talking about theft. We're talking about Brownie Samukai, the convicted felon that stole money, stole the poor, the no money. So now that we were on that, it's a good segue into our next segment. We share the Gloria Masu Scott, another powerful, according to Elvis. They are valuable people. They got so much value. They should get off scot-free.
No, that's not what I said.
Convicted of murder, convicted of killing a human being. And Elvis is going to use the same logic to say,
no, you can't say that. You can't preempt my response. You got to come to me first, and then I will give you my logic.
Anthony Gay.
Yeah.
Anthony Gay.
What's up?
I'm going to start with you because you were the last time. I got to give you time. Mr. Gay, this is historic in our jurisprudence to find the top of the elite, the ruling class. They used to kill people for nothing and walk away with it. This time, the law says no one is above the law. Even if we pardon you, because one of Mr. Kamal's friend just called me and said, don't worry about it. Soon we get her, we'll pardon her. But she will not be pardoned until next year, December, when it's time for him to do it. But he can't pardon during the year. So we're going to do this. So at least you're going to spend a year in jail. But here is the former Supreme Court Chief Justice killed somebody. She was convicted. She was accused, indicted, convicted, and today 11 or the 12 jurors said overwhelmingly that this woman murdered somebody.
Jerome, ask a question. Now you really man forget a question. Oh,
My
ask
man,
the question.
I know where you go. Kamara, I know where you going to. You let criminals stay right there. It's okay.
What I want for Liberia is for the common man, the middle class, if we will have a middle class, and the higher upper level people be treated the same way under the law. That's what I hope for Liberia. Every person must have the opportunity to represent themselves, be represented by an attorney if they can afford one, be given a public defender if they don't have an attorney. If that can be done across the nation, we will be a better nation. What the law says it. I'm not here to defend anyone. She had a day in court. She had her lawyers. She had a team of lawyers that went to court, and the ice fell to where it fell. We respect the decision of the court, but all I can say right now is this kind of process has to be done across the board. There's so many cases that have been left behind. A police commander was shot in Grand Juliet County, and that case dead. That case is dead today. A young man disappeared, Alfred Dunham. We don't know what happened. People were arrested and never given a chance to go to court. They've been in jail for over 8 months. They were never given a fair trial. So these kind of things make people to scratch their head and wonder, but what are all the other things happening in the country and only very few cases are processed? Do we not have the requisite amount of people that's supposed to be in court to process these cases? Why certain case does not make it to the Supreme Court, does not get into the proper due process? And so that's my concern. But the law should be the law. No one's above the law. They have that time. They have time given to appeal the guilty verdict if they want to appeal it. But other than that, that's all I have to say. Let the law take its course. Let people be held accountable for their action. But let every case have the day in court. With cherry picking, a lot of things happening in Liberia, like I just mentioned, my county. People were arrested and they were never given a due process. Now, the Supreme Court issued a letter now in Grand Juliet County to those people who vandalized the Senator home, Senator Zopeno home, after the demise of Representative Ira Madison Graham. Already, the Supreme Court have issued a warrant for the arrest. So that is the kind of thing that can happen in Liberia. Sometimes you wonder why things happen the way they happen. So I pray that our country will reach to the level where everyone will have.
Great. This man.
Let me just clear up some things, Mr. Gimme, if you give me my time.
Mr. You gotta wait for your time. Mr. Eastman, you are a Monrovia boy. You guys in Monrovia, you protect each other. Okay?
Wow.
When we talk about glorious sky, we talk about the top of the top here. We talk about the cream of the crop. So here we are. This administration, you got to give this administration credit for what they have done, that no one is above the law. If you commit a crime, you will do it. This woman had audacity, with a handcuff on her hand, went and demanded to sit in the bar with the lawyers. And the folks have finally know you belong on the prisoner's bench. This is how arrogant this woman is. She's a murderer, Mr. Eastman.
Full disclosure, I know her very personally. We're in school together, CW. So, admittedly, she is amongst the fortunate ones in Liberia. She rose to the top, Supreme Court chair. But if somebody does wrong, they have to be punished for it. Especially when we talk about taking the life of another. That is, to me, that is more heinous than even stealing millions of dollars. That doesn't directly cause the death of someone else. I think when I review the merits of the case and some of the evidence I've seen, it looks like she allowed her temper to get out of hand. Okay, and that's what caused the whole issue. But even though I'm a little bit surprised that the information has not been made to the public. And I know there are hands involved. And if we're going to allow a court case to make mockery of our judicial system, then again, we'll have a travesty of justice. We have to allow justice to prevail. Later, if they deem it necessary, they can provide some clemency. But I agree with you. This was one case that the government saw to the end. But then I have to wonder why the drug case, where all the evidence was given to them, they allowed those guys to flee the country. So we need to be consistent. We can't be selective like you were talking about. If we're going to do justice, let's be consistent about the way we do it. And that will earn us, then people will know where the country is going. Then people will know how they will be protected in the country. But yes, something happened. Yes, she's been brought down. But why only this case? We need to do it consistently.
Thank you. Mr. Kamara.
Yes, sir.
We have a woman who was so arrogant that the Monroe clique, including the Jerome Verdier and these people, began to do things to sabotage this case by accusing poor and innocent folks. And here she is. Not only was this woman found guilty, but the evidence, her granddaughter, was deported from Atlanta, Georgia for being a member of a dangerous gang. Every time you see her in that group, she got her hoodie on. That girl was so dangerous in Atlanta, they deported her.
So Mr. Jimmy, here's the thing. All right. Anthony and Jimmy have said it all. The only thing I can say in this is that there is fire where the smoke is coming from. I don't want to touch on everything that they said, but I also don't think that the verdict against this lady was a wrong verdict. I don't think so. You know, the honesty in me would not go the route of partisan. I think something happened, and she knows something. That's what I can say with regards to this. She knows something. The only problem is the government has been so shady to the point where nobody want to trust them anymore. But I think something happened, and I don't think the government is trying to just pin murder on Mrs. Costa Gloria Scott.
Right. Mr. Elvis, a case in my town here in Miami where 3 or 4 kids went to rob a store. They planned went to rob the store, and one of the supermarket, the storekeeper got murdered. And they all 4 were charged with murder, first-degree murder, because they were part of this group. They were part of a gang.
They are accomplices.
Right. They were accomplices. They knew what was happening, and they were all convicted of murder. Isn't that the same system in Liberia where you own a home, you supervise these kids or these people in your home, and one of the kids got murdered, and you are giving, especially the crime where they say she produced false evidence, like a decoy, to fool the government by saying this and that. All the record was contrary, Mr. Elvis Morris.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gabin. I just want to clear one thing first that Anthony Gay was talking about. You know, there's a guy here called Ero Madison Gwen Jr., who I know, and he told me how his father died. His father had a protracted illness, so his father had been sick. He's the junior boy for Ero Madison Gwen, former representative from Grand Judicial County. His father was sick, and they rushed him to Ghana, and that's where he died. So there's whole speculation that somebody died and was killed by panel. It's not true. Coming to the issue of the former Chief Justice.
Mr. Given, Mr. Elvin, I didn't, Morris, I didn't accuse anyone here.
He said
I
it's
didn't
so
accuse anyone.
when they set a house on fire, they hire up court, send someone to have people arrested. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, this issue with the former Chief Justice. Look, I think in Liberia we have the Miranda rights also. Anything you say can be used against you in the court of law. And we saw that brief statement that she made, that she looked the man in the eye and pepper sprayed him. And the people say the pepper spray was effective. She said yes. And then when they asked her if she can identify the man, she said, "They might ask Jerome Vordier, who said that this was Vali Tellin." So a lawyer, a lawyer of the highest esteem in our country, will stand on TV where she's being recorded and make that statement. If it cannot be substantiated, that's why I said I was disappointed in her in the show from yesterday. Everybody was questioning me why I would say that. Because you made that statement and it can be used against you in the court of law. And even for us in the public, we can use that statement against you, that a person who is astute and who is well adept in law will make such a statement that cannot be substantiated in the court of law. So for me, I'm not here to tell you she's guilty based on this and that. I believe the jurors because the evidence put before them was significant enough in weight for them to have found her guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So I can't sit here and say she was wrongly convicted, but for me, like I said, I always like to look at the bigger picture. If Joseph Boakai's government comes into power and decides to pardon this woman, that I think will signal something to us because Boakai would be a part of that quote unquote elite class who's protecting his quote unquote friends and political allies. And Mr. Kamara has said it here on this platform today, and I will hold him on record that he think the verdict was appropriate.
I'm not Joseph Boakai though. Don't put on record. I'm not Joseph
So
Boakai.
you're a supporter of Joseph Boakai, So if Joseph Boakai, pardon that lady, pardon is something that the president has the right to give, but you have to have a review of the case. You have to have a review. So if the president said, "Well, this lady has served our country, her service to our country is so great that we will pardon her because of her service." So you can serve as chief justice and kill one person and be pardoned for it. Like Mr. Eastman said, when we're talking investment and misappropriation, pardon again, it's not such a big deal. But when we're talking murder, I think you have to be very careful how you pardon quote unquote convicted murderers. So for me, I don't see anything wrong with the case. I think I expected her to hire the best lawyer. And one of the things that Anthony Gay said before I close here is that the justice system should be fair to everybody. The reality is that it can never be fair to everybody. Money, having resources, allow justice to be fair for you. If you're a wealthy man, a man of resource, can hire the best lawyers who's going to argue on your behalf with the best experience and the best expertise, then more than likely justice will be served in your favor. But if you're a poor person who don't have money to hire a good lawyer and you get a public defender who don't know what they're doing, more than likely you'll be on the wrong side of the law. So justice is not quote unquote equal. It should be blind and serve everybody equally. But the way you present your evidence in court can determine if you're found guilty or not. And I think she had the best of lawyers. Most of them were doing this work pro bono, and she still was found guilty. So for me, I think we stand with the guilty verdict unless it's been overturned by the appellate court or ultimately the Supreme Court. Anything else outside of that, getting a pardon for Boakai, even if the Supreme Court uphold this conviction, I think would be a travesty of justice. I will use Mr. Eastman's phrase, a travesty of justice in that regard. I'll leave it there.
Great. Now let's go. Let's move. We'll come back one second, but let's go back to one of the, I think, in my estimation, one of the most successful and I think the highest achievement of President Weir was the construction of the PHP Park and the symbolism. Seeing two living presidents of the Republic of Liberia at an unveiling. And at the spot where these people were executed, there is a monument they call the Unification Monument, where the flag of the Republic of Liberia was hoisted. And that beautiful sound from the Liberian bugle, from the Liberian military band, playing that sign and seeing the Liberian flag.
Can you play that audio for us? For the video?
Huh?
Can you play that video? Do you have it?
Oh, I'll look for it. Mr. Eastman.
That was good.
Mr. Eastman, you are the diplomat. This is your area. You, those of us that were born in the Tottenham area, we are about pageantry. We are about protocol. We are talking about symbolism. We are talking about those things that when you look at it, you say, yeah, this is typically uniquely Liberian. This was one of those days where we all can stand and say, this is a spectacle that we can call Liberian. Mr. Eastman.
Wow. For many Liberians, especially those who lost their parents or their brothers or sisters that day, this does serve as some kind of commemoration for them. You know, I think it was a wise decision. I remember that day on the beach when those 13 men were executed. There was joy and there were tears. We should never be driven toward that again, that we kill each other. But yes, this is a good thing. I'm only concerned, you know, when it comes to these parks. My observation with Liberia and its monuments, its buildings, its government facilities, we have to maintain these things. What I don't want to see 6 years from now, that park is dilapidated. We have to include. You see, with those parks, we have to include in the budget a maintenance sum that would make sure that those things last. Those are very good contributions for the youth. Give them somewhere to recreate, somewhere they could let out their youthfulness and whatnot. So these are excellent ideas, but maintaining it will be the next thing. We need a plan, and it's important that we come up with sustainable ideas that we can continue this tradition no matter who is president, no matter what administration. So yes, I think we deserve a pat on the back. I wish they would publicize this more. I don't think enough people know what happened about the monument and the flag that flies there. I don't think it is enough. These things should be lifted. I think the information arm of this administration should lift that as a huge event that they did. I think that would be in place.
Yeah, a great tool for reconciliation, Mr. Eastman. A great tool for reconciliation.
Mr. Elvis, this is, I mean, when we talk about reconciliation, when we talk about bringing the people together, after
Mr. Kamara,
all
lift up your hair. This is not good for television.
this is what we are talking about. In fact, let me leave Elvis, Mr. Kamara.
No, don't leave me. Don't leave me, please. I have a lot to say about the PhD. Don't leave me.
There was a song way back before you were born. You don't leave me this way. So I understand you coming. Okay, Mr. Elvis, chime in.
Yeah. Look, I'm so excited. I mean, just the location of that park is picturesque. I mean, right on the beach, you can sit there and look at the ocean flow. I mean, it's just a peaceful place to be. Although, ironically saying that was a place where we saw violence, or those guys being on a pole and killed. Many will argue unjustly, and I will add my voice to it unjustly. But that location is a beautiful location.
Yep.
And the park is massive. I mean, we have multiple basketball courts, football pitches. We have a whole section of playgrounds for the kids. I mean, it's really, really great. So I think the president doing that, he's a person who loves recreation. In this country, we have somebody like Theodore Roosevelt, who was a outdoorsman, and we have a lot of national park who that honors Theodore Roosevelt. I think President Weah's, greatest achievement will be in the recreational section of our country. He really put emphasis on it. I, as a little boy growing up in Congatown as a child, who was going from football field to football field, playing football all day. I would love to go in that park and play football, on a Friday afternoon after school or on a Saturday morning. So it's great for the youth to give them something to do, especially in a community that has been underserved in a Boucher Quarter community. So I think overall it's a great development, and I think our money well spent. But Mr. Eastman said it, and I will echo it again. It has to be maintained. If Boakai neglects this project, or out of being vindictive or just throwing it to the side, it would be money not well spent, because all of the good work will go to waste. And I think we need to nationalize that monument, like Mr. Eastman said again. It's something that has been in the thorns of many people from a certain a group who felt that their people were targeted and killed unjustly. We have to nationalize it and go there maybe every Memorial Day to have a commemoration of those people who were lost, and put more spotlight on it to reconcile our nation between those people who lost their life on the pole on that day, and the other people who felt aggrieved. Just let it be a talking point. People can go there and discuss about it and have their own opinions, heard about the situation that happened. But President Weah, kudos to you, sir. You had your lapses in other places, but I think when it came to recreation for the youth, you did an excellent job. I'll leave it there.
Thank you. Mr. Eastman, if you can go back, I just sent you that video. By the 23rd minute, you will see the exact period of the memorial. So if you can do it for us, that's fine. If not, we understand. Mr. Kamara, when
Yes,
you
sir.
and I were growing up, I know you
Yeah, you didn't grow up. Oh. Yeah, myself, we are 14 years apart. We didn't grow up together. Don't be good, Tony.
Mr. Kamara, Mr. Kamara, you don't know when you were born. You don't know when you were born. So it's true. You could be older than me or younger than me. You don't know.
But let me answer this.
nephew.
I know.
Let me answer this.
Your take on the park.
Yeah, let me say, look, all in all, government comes and government goes. Every government, regardless of how bad they are, they left something of some vital importance that the generation after that government can utilize if properly managed. I think PHP Park was an excellent idea. I don't think Judge Weah did it for reconciliation, though. I think he did it for us to put the past behind us. I mean, not necessarily, yeah, it's part of reconciliation, but for what Evans is saying, I don't think that's Judge Weah's intent. Because if that becomes Judge Weah's intent, it becomes conflict. It causes more conflict, because people will be telling you, what about Katakian? Why didn't he build a park there? What about Nkwaduboni, Bakedu? Why didn't he build a park there? A Dubo Road massacre, it may have been small back then in 1994. Why didn't he build a park there? 1979, Rest Riot. Why didn't he build a monument to, recognize the dead? So I don't think that's why he did that, because if he would do that, it would only cause more confusion, because it has to go across the board. But all in all, I think it is important when we're talking about tourism, and Joshua left these two parks. I believe the government, whatever government come after, Joshua did not build it for him and his children. It's for the country. So it will only be responsible for anyone, whether it's Joseph Boakai or anyone else, to maintain this park, to continue to let it grow, so that when people come to the country or children in those vicinities can actually utilize it. But when you do that, you have to also make sure the city is clean. You can't build park and the whole country dirty. My next suggestion to Joseph Boakai would be that park that Joe Weah built over there on the airfield. I will break through that park.
Oh my God! Oh my! Don't say that.
I will break through that park, connecting the Tubman Boulevard to the Springfield Road, and close down Springfield. That road is more than a 6-link express if you can make it a motor vehicle road. They connect all the little small adjoining roads like Bangertown, like Rotota, you know, and connect that road all the way until you hit Kesali Boulevard or you hit Somalia Drive. You know, that would be a very beautiful thing. I think that's what George Weah should have thought of instead of building a park right there on the airport runway.
Low hanging fruit, my friend.
You
Low
see,
hanging fruit. Being a
uh,
highway is very expensive.
Mr. Gay, those of us who have been part of charrette, which is city planning, there are two things that are very important in city planning. Number one is parks and recreation because it reduces crime and it's an investment in the youth. And also, it helps with public health, where people go, older people go to exercise,
I gotta
walk.
log out and come back in, man. You guys are so low. I can't hear anything. I didn't even hear a word Ismail said.
You got a cheap phone, you got to
Go
change
ahead.
it. So you see, you're still using button phone. So when we're talking about
Again,
park and
look at
recreation,
it.
yeah, the park and recreation, it is not only about just park. It serves a lot of purposes. And number one is crime prevention. Number two, youth. Number three, public health. But we don't look at these things. They look at it, well, this man built a park for the country that is 201 years old, from 1822 to 2003. We are 201 years old now. We do not have a park system. I like what was proposed, that every district in the country, all 73, should have a national park and recreation for children, for youth, for the population. And I think they build the PHP park, they build the one he talked about. Then I heard there were one in Nuku Town, there were one in Door Community. They are doing this because of the concentration of people. We talk about the critical mass, where the young people are, the underprivileged children. These are the areas where crime is actually high. If you look at it, you talk about all of the young folk committing crime. They have nothing to do. So the park,
Where you would like me to show on the video? Where you want me to start?
right there on what is it? The 23rd minute.
23rd minute. Okay.
Yes. So, Mr. Gay, talk to us about the importance of park and recreation.
Look, like Mr. Eastman and Elvis said, look, myself, when I saw the park for the very first time, I was moved. I'm not a fan of George Weah when it comes to politics. I'm a fan of George Weah when it comes to sports. But I was moved. I was like, yes. The location of the park. I'm an ocean kind of guy. I love the ocean view. I love, God bless me. Someday my house will be close.
You Niji man, how you not love the ocean?
This. I mean, only in Liberia see people go defecate on the beach. I mean, that's a place that people cherish. It costs a lot of money to live closer to the beach. You understand? But look, President Weah will be remembered for years to come for that particular park.
Yeah.
Loving, hating, he did the right thing. And that park, like Elvis says, is spacious. I mean, it's large. It's expanded across, the recreational section on our park. Look, it will serve as a place too for students to just go and reflect, study for exam and all of the different. I mean, a lot of things that park would do for people. I remember some kids were interviewed before the park was dedicated, and they became like, since my mom bought me, I never seen anything like this.
Maybe man, my boy in 2001. You know.
Well, ladies and Mr. Gay, can you hold on 1 minute? We got a call here. I wanted to respond to something you said. Your name and where you calling from, sir? Hold on 1 minute. Your name and where you calling from?
Flomo Livingston.
Go ahead.
From Rhode Island.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, a few things I want to discuss. The first thing is the Goro Masuska case. I know Judicial are happy or / ANC are happy of that. For me, that case was tampered with. In the first place, the lead prosecutor was not supposed to go visit the jurors in the first place 2 times. That's why they removed him from the case and they fined him $200 US. And they even removed the police officer, the security guy that was there. They changed it. For me, that whole case was tampered with. And I hope they go to the Supreme Court so they can retry that case, because in the first place that whole jury should have been changed. Because you're not supposed to go visit them at all. Whether to go say hi or not, you're not supposed to do that because it's temper with the kids. With Brownie Samukai case, for me, I know the president have the right, but my point I'm saying is, why would he just waive the whole debt? So is that how it's gonna be? So when Joe Boakai come and then someone owe the state $5 million, he'll just waive it, and then who's gonna be paying them? Who's gonna pay the EFL, their family? Who's gonna pay them? Where they gonna take the money? So that all of them gonna pour on the government. That extra $1.7 million debt. Why would you do that? Look, I mean, if we want to be serious, let's be serious here. You cannot, pardon someone, then you pardon the debt. The president should not have that authority to do that, because on the state, what is they going to find out other $1.some million to pay the EFL and their families? We'll have to think about that. The last thing about the We Are project, the Quarry Park, it's a good thing, but my point I have is, do you expect someone from West Sano County, Lofa, or River G to come and have fun over that? What about the children in the Bureau County who won't be able to come to that park to have fun? So if you want to do things like that, good. But at least let it be in counties. Like the state, each state you live in, each city have their own park and stuff like that. That's how it should be. Or you build 2 parks in the same city, in Monserrato. What about at least you could take one of the parks to different counties and stuff like that? That would be a bit better. But you just build everything in one county in Monserrato. You expect someone the late child from way in the interior to come in Monserrato to have fun. To me, that was not, it was not right. I think he just did it for himself. And it should not be added in the budget. All right, there should be a way for that part to generate fund, not to be added in the budget. We already get so much expensive to go add another park in the budget to do that. There should be a way to generate fund for that park. Thank you. Thank you to you guys.
Okay, the film is ready.
Okay, let's look at some of the film, guys. Let's look at this. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll look at it and I can conclude. But Mr. Gilman, you can't be taking call in the middle of somebody making that point.
Let's go. Go ahead.
No, we gotta have call sections.
Sorry, Anthony. He offended you. Sorry, we apologize.
Okay,
Wow.
guys, look at this.
Wow.
And we will play Ellen's speech or statement that she made too. It was very, powerful.
Okay, can we?
Well, why no volume?
No volume?
No volume.
No sound. But I don't think the video is being played.
The volume is not necessary. The picture tells 1,000 words.
You gotta hit the play button.
It's being played.
Video not being played. We've seen the video being played. Say not being
Oh, maybe not myself.
We've seen the video, but no sound.
My own boy is not even playing there.
Maybe your computer too slow. It can't.
Let me do it again. Let me do it again. See if it will change.
Yeah, go back. Maybe go back a little further.
You see the engineer that coming was carrying the library. All the Mac computers, everything for it.
Nothing to do with my brain. The device I'm using right now has nothing to do with my brain.
They man at work, man. He even got phone.
I got iPhone 12 Pro Max. That's what I'm using, but it's outdated. I gotta get my 15.
The man, Ali Kamara got that button phone. He talking about technology. You been on this show. You been on and off for 5. You been going in and out 5 times.
I got a very cheap phone. It only costs $400. That's it.
$400. That's not cheap.
That's not cheap phone. Well, for Judicial worker, that's cheap. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about parks and recreation. I think Mr. Flomo.
You're in the echo.
With me?
No, from somebody.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Mr. Livingstone had it wrong. It was not 2 parks in Monrovia. There were a park, how they call it, the Invincible Park, PHP Park, the West Point Park, the Doe Community Park. So it was not 2. And then I just talked to you about the suggestion that it's going to be nationalized that every district in the country should have 1 park. Mr. Livingstone take out your partisan hat and listen to something nice. Every district, in fact, my
But
Buchanan
let me
district.
finish how I address that man said.
Go ahead. Yeah, my Buchanan district in Basel is about to break ground for their own park. And this is the work of the administration. Hopefully, the next administration will continue.
There you go, the video
Let's
playing
watch
now.
the video.
I can see the video playing now.
Yes, look at
Man,
this.
look at that beach, man. Look at that scene, my man.
That's my favorite part of it. Elvis,
Come on.
This
Look at that shoreline. I don't know. I think that is Dubai Hotel up there, so whatever it is.
No, man,
The
no,
mansion, that
The
executive
mansion,
mansion.
eh? Okay, wow.
no,
Those lights are nice. Imagine.
the boardwalk. For those of
I,
you,
Yeah.
I don't know the security implication of this to have a national park right behind the executive mansion, you know. But anyway,
oh
all
man,
in
come
all,
on.
there's a good side.
What kind of man is this?
Oh, you did the book going for the party to go see the
So what
president?
about the White House?
It's just the way how just
Have you been to the White House in
there's
Washington?
no national park behind the White House.
The White House is right in the middle of the ghetto.
I say no national park behind the White
Wait,
House.
but no national park. The Arlington National Park.
Is it behind the White House?
What way be behind the
It's
White
in,
House?
it's in its vicinity.
From the Lincoln Memorial.
It's far from the White House.
The
I
National
live
Mall.
near the play.
The National Mall.
Go ahead, man.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a major accomplishment for our country.
No doubt. I love the park. It's well designed. What I mean, how can this guy do not know where to put things? That's my concern. You see how Hotel Africa messed up now? If John Weir would have focused in the Hotel Africa, man, it would have been a flat. But behind the mansion, but anyway,
Mr. Kamara, Mr. Gator fall off again. Look,
yeah, they kind of better carrying him to Morocco to go do giveaway.
Mr. Elvis Morris here. Now, let's transition. We got 10 minutes on this, then we'll go to our calls. If not, we are talking about Joseph Boakai's trip to the United States. The funniest thing I ever seen is for Joseph Boakai, President-elect Joseph Boakai, to be sitting, I don't know whether it's a tailor shop or where, and they are taking a measurement. And someone said for the first time he's going to wear a nice suit. Was Joseph Boakai waiting
for the first time
to become president to sew suit? And
not just any suit, a designer suit, tailor-made suit.
Designer suit in the United States.
Those are very expensive.
Remember, this is Humble Joe Boakai.
Not only that, but after him, his entire entourage. When I look at Kofi Woods,
why don't you just read the comments on the screen or you say call? Because this one is going on now.
Joseph Boakai mouthpiece, I'm not reading any comments, just relax. Joseph Boakai is here.
Trivia.
But Mr. Gay,
chance to conclude.
Mr. Gay, his entire entourage. We saw Kofi Woods doing the
Let me hear what ANC would say about this one. Kofi was telling them $500,000 Lamborghinis. Let me hear what they would say about this one.
Personal money.
Ferrari.
Let's see.
So that government money to buying the suit.
Mr. Kamara, I'm going to sanction you.
Go ahead.
You're coming to me, Mr. Gay, man. Let me get my take on this quick and we'll go back to Anthony Gay.
Okay.
No. But I didn't conclude on the park and y'all interrupted me.
Okay, conclude that you let water better need you, man. We can live on the water.
Go ahead. I want to go to the suit thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll talk about the suit, but kudos to President. We didn't get to hear the statement that former President Salif made. She made a very powerful statement at that park. During the dedication. Look, Liberian. There is all walks of life found in Monserrado County, in Monrovia, to be precise. Okay. So the main, you Livingstone, the main gonna go to every kind of the same kind of park. Every tribe or citizen of Liberia that lives in Monrovia will have the opportunity to go to that park. Tourists will go to that park and enjoy that park. Do you know what it means for you to have such a park in this 21st century? It means a lot. Even if I leave from here, I go to Liberia. That's the very first thing I'm going to do my live video from that park. I love that park. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It adds something to our city. I mean, it's a place that, you know, the history of that particular location has been a dark history. You know,
Yeah.
I know Mr. Cameron making the argument that, oh, why he didn't build park for the Lugin massacre, the 1979 arrest riot. But of all of those different killings that happened in Liberia, these 13 people who were killed,
It was a catalyst.
yeah, that were killed at that particular location has been around for a very long time. You know, so people coming together and the name of monument there, a unity monument is called, right?
Wow.
Yeah, there's a monument there called Unity, and Madam Sari spoke to that. It's called a Unity Monument.
That's why we're going to go to the next topic.
Yeah, so
But why? That's a good thing for our nation, Mr. Kamara.
That is a good
Let's
thing
hear
for our
that.
nation. Look, Independent Day, these are kind of things that we need to talk
They're
about.
repeating
You know?
what everybody said. We all said the park was the park group of unity.
Mr. Kamara, when it comes to good thing, you always interrupt. I'm gonna
Yeah,
listen.
they're not good thing. They're not just repeating everybody else.
Yeah, so that's his right. The new government that you supporting, you're gonna be sanctioning people, right? You're gonna stop people from talking. Again, go ahead. Repeat the same thing we said so you can hear this man with Joseph Boakai.
Yeah, so let's talk about the suit, right? I know people been talking about, oh, what Joseph
No,
Boakai
don't go to the suit. You only wanted to finish on the park. The suit were coming to me. I have the first dibs on the suit part.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. The same party, ANC and CDC.
Look,
but who talking? You are CDC, and what you talk? Go ahead.
I'm telling you this, Mr. Gayman, and with all due respect to our president-elect. You know, they say money doesn't make a man. It only shows you, you know, it only amplifies who that person is, right? Joseph Boakai, first thing he did after becoming president-elect, flew to the United States. He's been here on a prolonged vacation because he wasn't officially invited to the United States to say he came here on quote-unquote business. He's here, you know, with Amara Cohen, who is a senator-elect, serving as a de facto, you know, minister of presidential affairs. So for me, what I see is going to be a whole lot of this, where Joseph Boakai is going to be in America. I said it before the election. Everybody was thinking so I was being partisan. Look at Mohamedou. No. I'm giving you my wider perspective. It's always the bigger picture that I look at, not just the, you know, the anecdotal evidence that's in front of us. My point is, you saw Muhammadu Buhari in Nigeria went to London or England over almost 100 times, spent more days out of the country in a calendar year than he spent, you know, that he spent outside of Nigeria than he spent in Nigeria. Joseph Boakai would be coming to this country like it's his farm rolling in Lofa County. So
but he's sick. And he was sick.
Buhari was sick.
Reason?
Yeah, medical reason. But the point I'm making is, why is Boakai in the United States? He missed his certification. You would think after a week he would be back to get certified as our president. You missed your certification. George Weah, when he became president, was not in America. He sat right there, got inaugurated. He went through everything on time as he should, and he did everything right. So why is Boakai in America waiting for American instructions or looking for American, you know, people to lobby, you know, for his government? That's why I said on previous shows that yes, he would be quote unquote successful because the United States will probably infuse some cash into his government, but he will be their boy. They will tell him what to do, and he will have to adhere to them because they're the one that's going to be picky, you know, giving him the money and piggy banking that government. So for me, he's not going to be an independent president. He's going to rely heavily on the United States. And you know, Joseph Boakai will try to sell the Wodogisi Mountain for campaign finance. So maybe those same people again will come back around and try to lobby him for concession deals. He was part of that, you know, 66 bogus concession agreement. So we have to keep a keen eye on him doing his administration for bogus concession deals also. But thank you. I just want to make those points.
Mr. Eastman, Mr. Talkso, when President Weah used to wear his proposed suit, they said somebody in the opposition said the man was so flamboyant. He wore a sneaker that was $14,000. We know that. I know, you know, we've been discussing that. Where in the world will you sell a sneaker for $14,000? But that's what the Unity Party and opposition went to say the guy is so flamboyant. A week after being elected in the United States, not only are you the incoming president, even if it were private, you are taking measurement of your inauguration suit and putting it on TV, putting it on social media, doing it live. Not only that, but his entire entourage. We saw Kofi Woods, we saw Amara Connor, we saw other folks at the expense of the Liberian government. Talk to me.
Think Liberia, but he not showing his suit in Liberia. Think Liberia, love Liberia.
Here is what I don't understand, and I want you gentlemen to
It's a Liberian designer though.
Doesn't matter.
Here it is. What do it is something interesting. What makes what is important to Liberian people, because having a suit tailor made and displaying that on the social media, I guess it's to encourage his fans, his supporters. It shows it's showing something that maybe you and I don't understand. There's a reason they're doing it. So maybe they like the idea that, we are now going to dress up our man and he's going to represent us. When you compare with GMW, George Manawia was wearing very, very, very expensive clothes. His shoes, his suits, he was a very stylish guy. Very, very stylish. And I think he set a new trend of dress in Liberia with a long African suit, almost that like how Toga suits used to be, but his had the long sleeve.
It's called a pro suit. It's called a pro.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was a trendsetter. He was a trendsetter. So maybe too, they want to show JMB in a new light, in a new era. I remember when Dole became head of state. Dr. Moneybai used to dress way better than him. But after about 6 months, you couldn't touch Dole again. He was always sharp. So this is something I think Liberians cherish. So they're trying to get the puppet on point, as we say on our show. He getting on point.
You get on point.
But Mr. Eastman, let me push back on that before I go to Mr. Kamara here. If we are talking about the duplicity, we talk about the hypocrisy. When you say think Liberia do this first, and you say the president before you were doing it wrong by wearing expensive suits and all of that, then you turn around and do the same thing and say they want to show me out in a new light. I mean, it's
hypocrisy of the highest order.
You came to rescue us from all the past misdeeds, things that have gone. Turbo did it, Ellen did it, Doe did it, Taylor did it. Joria did it, Ellen did it. Now you say you came to rescue, you could have changed everything, and you come back and do you do the same thing. So where is this change that we've been talking about? When is it coming? I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, they definitely have to be very, very careful about the trappings of the presidency. It is not so evident that you will not fall victim like others before you. There's a reason why it happens. There's a reason why they say power corrupts. There's a reason why they say money has inherent power in itself. All these things are now going to be at your disposal. And it has a way of giving you effect. But as famously as Mrs. Obama once said, that the presidency is not something that changes you, but rather something that brings your true self out. So if he is going to follow that trend, it means whatever trend he followed, that's who he was all along. But looking at him in his modesty over the years, I don't see him being that flamboyant. That's not his nature. But I'm here to be proved wrong in the future.
Mr. Kamara.
Yes, sir.
They said George Weah was a celebrity. He was flamboyant, and then here comes a wise man, very humble, a man from nowhere. He
Okay,
wise.
Mr. Gilman, let me just tell you this, Mr. Gilman.
Listen, man, wait for my
Yeah,
question.
I heard everything already.
You're not hosting. The humble man, a man from the man that walked from Kenema to Foya. No, he walked from Kenema from Sierra Leone to Foya, then from Foya to Monrovia, and all that. So he's humble, think Liberia, love Liberia. Now he in America buying his is it Amani suit made by a Liberian? Go ahead.
So let me just put it this way. So Joe Taylor is in Nigeria. Joseph Boakai got measured by a Liberian tailor. What are we saying now?
What Joe Taylor in Nigeria?
Joseph Boakai and Joe
has a Liberian tailor in Nigeria. Go ahead.
Okay, wait a minute. Joe Weah suit scarf from Nigeria. You know how they call that suit? They call it proponent. It's called Good Luck Janitor. The former Nigerian president. That's the style that Joe Weah took.
Not true.
But anyway, so what I wanted to say to you, Mr. Gilman, is what Joseph Boakai did over there. Joseph Boakai did over there was to promote a Liberian entrepreneur. And you have a serious issue with it. But here we are, your president is promoting somebody in Nigeria. You have no issues with it. And this guy we are talking about, his suits range from $75 to $800.
Or suit in the United States for $75.
I didn't say suit in the United States. I said this guy.
Yeah.
This guy that I'm talking about. All right. Now, the tailor that we saw measuring Joseph Boakai.
Mr. Kamara, now just cut it out.
But let me just say this. But compare that now to Joe Weah, who sold all his suits in Nigeria.
Mr. Kamara, you out of here.
That baseball player. I get to this try out of here.
Listen, man, I get it. When Comey said you got a red car, you out of here. You got a red car. Mr. Eastman, Mr. Kamara said Joseph Boakai went to Pastor buy a suit for $75. But Joseph Boakai, we got good tailor in Kwanu Boni. We got good tailor in Foya. We got good tailor in Monrovia. But he left from there, and he could even get it cheaper in Monrovia, but he came here to buy, according to Kamara, $75.
He was promoting a Liberian entrepreneur.
Mr. Kamara, and he promoting
$75 suit. $75 suit, that suit? No, man.
I'm not saying he was buying suit for $75. Don't listen to Jimmy. I said he was bringing from $75 to $800.
$75. What kind of suit can we for $75? Maybe buy no team.
Mr. Israel, when they questioned McGill about taking Liberia's money, he said, even if I took the money and I spend it in Liberia, I'm developing my country. This man just got money for transition. He took the money, came to the United States.
Who gave the money for transition?
Yeah, who gave money for transition? Who gave money for transition?
Mr. Evan, the transition has a budget.
Yeah, but that was for the people on the team, not Joseph Boakai himself. The president wanted to get his staffings and they refused it.
Joseph Boakai is part of the transition team.
People had a whole press conference and they refused the money.
He's the head of the transition team. Kofi Wood, you saw him on that team. What was Kofi Wood doing, trying on his own suit too? You saw Amara Kone over there. Amara Kone was trying on his own suit too. The whole entourage that was on that
let's go to the call-out now. Finish with Jimmy. Let's go to the call-out.
Listen, I'm not talking to you. We're talking about your father here. So, Mr. Jimmy Eastman, here we are. This is the hypocrisy we talk about. Liberia will never change. These people say this man was spending Liberia money outside Liberia. Now, here is this man, Kofi Woods. You saw the transition. When Kofi Wood sat on that transition team the first day, he was looking like Notre Dame. He was so gray and bad looking. You saw him when he came with Joseph Boakai. You see what money? You see what money can do?
Where would the man start now? Let the man start now.
You see what money can do, Mr. Eastman? I mean,
Yeah.
I saw Kofi Wu putting the measuring here. He's turning around. This is corrupt Kofi Woods. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you don't expect him to be the same now that he's president. I favor that he looking better because you want your representative, your president, to be a good, well dressed man, well dressed person. So you know, we don't want Carpenter making suits and we parading around here. So, but as long as it's not exorbitant, but I don't think it's something we should expect this, and Jerome. Like I told you, I saw what happened with Doe. Doe completely transitioned, and it happens, and it is needed for your image, for image of the country, but it shouldn't be exorbitant. I
Great.
hope he doesn't start buying $4,000 sneakers and stuff like that.
Great. We ladies and gentlemen, we got 10 minutes, so we'll go ahead and start
Yeah,
the
let's go
closing.
to the callers.
Yes,
Yeah, go to callers. Open the line, please.
the line will be open for calling, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have or say so. What's the number?
Put your number there.
Okay.
What's your number?
Yeah, man. These fake.
But why Anthony and Dennis don't like to open a line for us? Why do they do that?
No, we got a
Wow,
number.
oh yeah, nobody in the back with us. Wow.
No, that's why I'm asking why they do that all the time. They don't even announce on point. They will announce all other shit, but they will not announce on point.
Oh yeah,
And
they don't.
No,
they do
Mr.
not.
Jai announced.
President Dennis
Mr.
Jai
Jai
Dennis Jai
announced
will
on
never
point last
mention.
night.
Okay, ladies and
He announced
gentlemen,
it on
this
the
is the
show
number
last
to
night.
call 772-940-2871 if you want to have part of the discussion. You want to talk about Joseph Boakai and $15,000 suits, you can talk about that also. Mr. Eastman, talk so. Please, you got a few minutes. My Miami Dolphins are beating the Dallas Cowboys 13-7 at this point. The Minnesota Vikings just went down.
Don't mention
They
it. Don't
a
mention
whole
it.
country called Liberia. That was they win one point. Talking about Minnesota.
Jimmy
The
Eastman,
Giants.
New York Giants, they were nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I think they play on Monday night, right?
Washington, D.C.
They're playing
They
on
got
Monday night.
the general, wherever they are in the Washington area, they are nowhere. My
Okay.
Miami Dolphins winning. Mr.
Yeah,
Eastman,
this year the Miami looking good this year. They got a good quarterback. They've been up to snuff. I want to see how they do toward the end of the season. But yes, they have completely revitalized that team, and I know you should be ecstatic because they've been in the dungeon for long. When last they won a championship?
Listen,
In the
we have
70s.
the record. The only team in the NFL that went 13 and undefeated, nobody else. So don't even go
18 and 0. That was in the
18 and
70s.
18 and 0, undefeated, no team ever. So go ahead.
The Dan Marino Dolphins with Dan Shula.
Giant, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's good. Tomorrow is Christmas Day in Liberia, and I think we on point and focus. We need to start doing something for the Liberians. We need to open where we can provide food, where they can come and have a meal, or or something. We need to be able to relate to the everyday people and what this day means to them. Long ago, you would see people dress up on Christmas Day. They dress up on 26. They dress up Easter. Now, if they can just get a good meal, it would be good. I think this is one thing we need to do going forward.
Let's make that a objective for all of us for next year Christmas.
Mr.
We can
Eastman,
do that.
thank you very much. My man, Elvis, 1 minute. We got 5 minutes here. We got to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great show. I love the fact that we bring levity to this network, even though we talk about some serious issues, but we can have a laugh. So I always look forward to our Sunday afternoons, and being on the platform. But overall, I think the development that President Weah did, the question of if it was a good thing is a no-brainer. Of course, it was a good thing. The biggest question would be, can it be sustained and maintained by this next government coming into play? And maybe they would find reasons to not, maintain it because of budget not having enough money in the budget for this and that. But I think President Weah made his point clear. A man spend his money or his country's money where his heart is, and that is with the youth of our nation. And he shows that he wants the youth to be active and have a place for leisure and a place of peace where they can go and feel at home in their own country. So kudos to President Weah, and we're looking forward to President Boakai. I've been told that he's back in the country, getting ready for the inauguration. But I think he spent way too much time in the United States and being seen with a convicted felon like Stanton Witherspoon and being with Amara Kone everywhere as his mouthpiece, a man who is going to be in a completely different branch of government. It's so close. So just a boy, I don't understand the relationship there. He can be your, he can, he's the one that's carrying him to these meetings in Washington, getting him to meet these, stakeholders and so forth. So is he going to be, a boycott mouthpiece as a senator from Barbary, or is he going to be an independent person who's going to hold the executive, feet to the fire? That's yet to be seen. But I'll leave it there.
Great, Mr. Kamara, 1 minute.
Yeah, Liberia needs to grow, Mr. Gilman. Whether it's a Liberia from the Senate or the Chief Justice, who can help Liberia will help Liberia. But here's the thing. That look, bravo to President Weah for those ingenuitive, those parks. I think they don't have much economic value, but they have optic. They have optic value. The only problem the next leadership will have is whether the location of these facilities are expedient. Putting a park behind a mansion, putting a park on a Springfield, on a wrong way. The idea, the intention is good. The idea is good, but the placement is one of the things that concerns us. In future, if somebody decide to connect the roads in those areas, how will they affect the park? From Bangastan and other places. But yeah, look, it has been a great show. Thank you, Mr. Gilman. You really cracked me up. I laughed a lot today. That's what I like to do best. And I enjoyed it. It's just that we must understand that Joseph Boakai has come to make the difference. Next show we come in. Please let us find topics that are more pivotal in the development and the growth of Liberia, as opposed to who are measuring Joseph Boakai's suit. You know what I mean? Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. We know this is Christmas Eve. You're spending time either with your family or at the mall, wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in. We wish our incoming president well. If Liberia succeed, we all succeed. We will look forward to going home. And before I close, to all my friends that used to give the big excuse, my man, I want to go home and do investment, but I don't like the government that is not safe. Joseph Boakai is in power now. They are not calling me to see when they're going home. Go home. It's time for you to go home and invest. Ladies and gentlemen,
Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates it.
To you, and it's a great
Thank
thing.
you.
It's
now you're doing better.
we need to, one point when we're done, we will be talking about this, yes. But the next holiday, whether it's Ramadan or Christmas, we have to find a means of rewarding our people and not just talking to them and calling in. Thank you very much. And as always, we say, Mr. Eastman, you're going to take us out, or you want me to do it?
Go ahead.
Okay, guys, we're going to go to our closing song here. As always, wherever you...
We are Labira. Labira is our home. Labira people.